Hi, this video is about removing the log method calls from your application. The log method calls are a great way to debug your application, but in the released version of your app, especially if you're using intensive logging, this can clutter the logcat or even slow down your application. In this lesson, we'll see how to remove this by using the Eclipse IDE. If you only make a few calls to the log method in your app, this can be easily commented out before releasing your app. But what if your app is more complex and uses more log method calls? In this lecture, we'll use Proguard. Proguard is a utility that can optimize your application's code. But in this course, we will use it to strip the log method calls in the release version of your app. Here I have a simple application created by using the blank activity template. I just added a few log method calls inside the onCreate, onResume and onPause activity methods. In my app, it can be very easy to comment this, but let's presume that you have a more complex app. Let's see how we can enable Proguard in our application. There are two files that we need to modify in order to achieve that. The first one is project.properties. Here we can find a line that says, to enable Proguard to shrink and obfuscate your code, uncomment this. So we need to uncomment the following line, the one that starts with proguard.config. Now, in order for Proguard to use the custom rules that we will specify shortly, this will have to be set up by using the optimized version of it and not the default one. We do that by appending -optimize after Android in the name of the file that Proguard will use for its configuration. So this will look like proguard-android-optimize.txt. Next, we can find the file that will contain our rules. In this case, the file name is proguard-project.txt. This file is located right above the one that we modified so far. This file contains a bunch of comments that we're going to remove in order to insert our custom rules that Proguard will follow. But where do you get those rules? How do we come up with the rules that will instruct Proguard to remove the log method calls from our app? I'll start by opening a web browser and search for Proguard strip log on Google. The first return result is pointing to a Stack Overflow question. Let's see more details about this. Here we can find a question posted by a user that was trying to solve the same problem, to strip the log entries from his application. And if we scroll down to the answers section, we can find one that provides the Proguard rules that are doing just that. I will copy these rules and will paste them into my Proguard rules file. As the user that responded to this question illustrates, the Assume No Side Effects option is only available when the optimization version of the Proguard is used. That's why we had to specify that Proguard will use the optimized file and not the default one when we enabled Proguard. And this is how we can strip the log method calls entries from our application. Now, when we generate the released version of our app, something that we'll do in the next lesson, all the logs will be removed. To summarize, in this lesson we learned how to remove the log method calls from our app by using Proguard and Eclipse. Thanks for watching and see you soon.